I want to do some like quick fire questions with you.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be one word, but don't go into like, gigantic detail. We're just going to get some quick little things. So first one, which DJ would you really not fancy having to follow?
Probably Derek Carter or Luke Solomon.
Fair enough. First, let's go over 18. First nightclub you remember going to legally that was an overage nightclub?
God, I can't remember. It's a good question. It probably would have been the Ocean Rooms, because I had my 18th birthday party at the Ocean Rooms.
Nice.
Which was a club in Brighton. Yeah, I did an 18th birthday party, and I was obviously, wasn't 18 until midnight. So that was the first club I would have been in at the age of 18.
Fair enough. Going to go for I want a track that I'm not going to give it too much specificity. So give you broad range to go at it, but a track that has probably influenced you the most.
It's a good question. I probably would say it would have to be probably something by MJ Cole.
Okay.
So it would probably be either, Sincere, not that I've ever made a record that sounds like Sincere, but who can make a record that sounds like Sincere? Or it would be something else, any of the stuff that he's done, really, any of the early VIP stuff. Or maybe for the more recent stuff, that was the kind of stuff I was trying to make years ago. But for the more recent stuff, where I'm doing the kind of more jazzy, deep house, it would probably be either somebody like Fritz Wentink as a producer, or something like that.
Cool, man.
Somebody like that.
Favorite nightclub that you have DJ'd in, where you just enjoyed the vibe, the setup, the crowd, whatever the moment, but just favorite kind of nightclub. You can give me a specific gig if you want, but
I'd say it would either have to be somewhere in Croatia for Defected, or probably they weren't really clubs though; they were more kind of like daytime, outsidey sort of things. But club, I would say Eden in Ibiza for Defected. Just because the club's so good and the sound system's so clean and clear, and it's just like a pleasure to play in there.
And if we take you to Eden, which DJ would you like to warm up for the most? Who would you just be buzzing if you got that booking in, you got that email from your agent, and you were like, oh, this is just perfect. I get to do a set and then stop and just enjoy them.
It would probably be, I don't know, it would probably be somebody like... It'd probably be somebody like Armand Van Helden or somebody like that.
Yes.
Somebody who's a kind of major sort of American name that I've kind of looked up to. That would probably do it, because I've DJed with a lot of the other English guys and stuff like that, and you sort of lose that little bit of the gloss in a way, because they become almost mates half the time, and so but Armand Van Helden's somebody that I've never met. So if I was to do that next summer or something, that would still be there'd still be some reverence there.
Yeah, I warmed up for Van Helden once, man, and it was certainly a pinnacle in my DJ career. If you were substituted in for Carl Cox for the last night of Space, and even if it wasn't the full night and Coxie was still playing, but just say you got to choose the last track. Obviously, I saw there's a video going around at the minute, and it's that "Wish I Didn't Miss You Anymore" thing that he plays at the end. Right. What track would you choose to play as the last track in that room?
Whatever in Space.
Yeah, if you had the ability to choose that one last record in that main room at whatever time it was in the morning, what record do you think you would play given that opportunity?
I would either go, I don't know, I'd probably go with, Unfinished Sympathy is one of my favourites ever. I just feel like it's such a great tune, but I don't know if it really would fit there, to be honest. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'd just go housey. Maybe I'd go Promised Land or something.
Oh, nice. Bit of Joe Smooth.
Yeah, because I just think that record's just so timeless, and it's such a feel-good tune. I'd probably need more time to think about it, but that's the one that would certainly be one of the last ones. If it wasn't the last one, it'd be in that last 30 minutes for sure.
Cool. Okay, moving on. We're going to do a dream gig. Again, this is just in the moment, so don't stress. I know it could be different tomorrow or last week or in 6 months' time, but I want a dream gig. I want a venue that you're going to hold this gig in. It can be real or imaginary. It can be generic, like a huge festival or an underground pit, or it can be a place that you've played or a place that you want to play. And I want 3 acts. there's not so much a headliner and a middle act and a warm-up. Let's call it like, equal billing. You can play, you can have back-to-backs, you can have bands, you can have Dead or Alive, you can have back-to-back-to-backs, you can do whatever you want. But just say that this gig could happen this weekend. Where's it going to take place, Scott Diaz?
Oh, I'd probably have to go somewhere like one of the famous London venues that's no longer.
Okay.
So it would have to be like the End or Turnmills or something like that. Let's say the End.
Nice. Love that DJ booth in the End, man. Fucking hell.
It was a special place, that place. I don't know. If it could be any lineup, I probably would go like... I'd probably go something like... I'd probably have to do... I'd want definitely Luke Solomon to play.
Okay.
Because I think Luke's an amazing DJ, and I love the way that he doesn't like reach for anything obvious. Same as Derek, they play grooves that you kind of like know, and it's all stuff that it's really easy to get into, but you don't really know any of the tunes, And I love that. It's kind of like very underground, but like bumpy, and so I'd probably choose Luke for that. And then I guess if you could have anybody, you'd have to have like Larry Levan or somebody like that.
Yeah.
And then what else? What else did you need to know?
No, I just want 3 people, so you can play if you want.
And I'd be on there, yeah.
Of course,
so it'd be me, Luke, and Larry Levan.
That makes total sense to me.
Sounds pretty wild.
Fucking wicked. Last thing we're going to do, Scott. Someone's been hopefully listening to this all the way through. Loads of people will do. And I want you to name a track that's going to play out the podcast. It can be something of yours as a promo. It can be something new. It can be something old. It can be something that we've talked about. It can just be something that springs into your head, which potentially you want someone to listen to, having just listened to an hour and 40 odd minutes of us having a natter. But I want you to introduce it and then tell people why you want them to kind of listen to it now. And then I'll put it on at the end of podcast in post.
Okay, so I would probably say the thing that sort of jumps out at me would be Scott Diaz, Mistreated, which is on my label Grand Plans, and I think that it's probably the record I've done that's done the best in many senses. It's kind of reached a lot of people. It got me the attention of labels like Defected and kind of the ears of people in there, and it's kind of it's like a nice kind of, I love that sort of yearning emotional quality to it, and it seems to resonate with people. So as a kind of good sort of cross section of where I've been at musically for the last few years with that deeper stuff, this is probably a really good example.